And it's B to start it, C to pause it, and M to clear it. That's CBM. Well, let's get my other windows up. Let's get my Wii Remote turned back on. Battery life on that should be good for this run. So I guess the one thing I will do first is I will load up my request line on Rainwave. Make sure I'm focused on live split. And 3, 2, 1, go. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave this race channel open just in case someone shows up. At this point, I'm not anticipating it though, but that doesn't matter. Still playing the game. I've gotten 2 palindrome times. Oop, 4319. It's nights like this where I should probably check race time. See if they've got anything going on over there. Over enough. Make the jump, dummy. You know, speaking of, well, I wasn't speaking of, but Speaking of RPG franchises that I have yet to tap into and hopefully do at some point, the Suikoden series. Suikoden 2 is the only one that I don't have, as far as I know. I've got 1, I've got 3. I think it goes up to 5. Yeah. And then I've got Suikoden Tactics as well. And then, for a video game franchise that I have no interest in, the Silent Hill franchise. I've said it in the past, I'll say it again. The only horror specific franchise that I have any interest in is Dead Space. I might like some of the later Resident Evil games, but I've got plenty of other games that I know I actually want to play. You jerk. You jerk. There was that one horror game that was on PS2. I know that doesn't narrow it down at all. It's like you played as a young girl that was in I think a boarding school of some sort, and she had to deal with being tormented by a group of bullies. That one always intrigued me because I kind of want to know where the story of that game goes. Not enough to actually sit through a long play or find a synopsis for it. Sounds like Rose of Red or something like that, but I don't remember. Another game that I've seen recently that looked really interesting. I was watching Murphigator play through some more relatively obscure arcade beat-em-ups. And there's this one that he was playing called Big Fight, Big Trouble in the Atlantic Ocean. And the entire game takes place on this like ridiculously outfitted cruise ship that has like an ancient Egyptian museum, like a Egyptian history museum, and like an atrium and a zoo, as well as a casino and a stage for song and dance related entertainment. It does look like a rather clunky beat 'em up, but it's got this really neat mechanic of being able to play as pretty much all of the boss characters after you defeat them. And it's got like 500 parallax layers in the background, so it's got like some really interesting scrolling and effects that happen because of all the parallax. I actually went and found the ROM for it, but the fucking version of MAME that I have on my Wii is like super selective about what games it can and cannot run. Got him. Like, I went and found like 5 or 6 arcade ROMs for games that I really want to play at some point. And MAME on Wii can only play one of them. And it's the one that I was the least interested in actually playing. It takes 3 shots. Well, that makes up for me getting the quick kill. Nice hat. A lot of pinks and purples going on in this. I called him Bubblegum Bill earlier. This is like Hello Kitty Bill. So after my discovery last week during the intermission, that I actually had an almost completed sequel to my dumb chicken game already made. Just want to clear up a couple things for those who give a shit. I already mentioned this on my Discord, but The one thing I failed to notice last week when I was looking at the project is I made mention of the fact that there were 10 maps, and that each of them had a different tile set, and each of them had a different musical track. And, you know, I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I can go in there later that night and just tack on an additional map or two to, you know, flesh it out a little bit. There was no need. Because of something I mentioned and then forgot to notice. One of the things that I had mentioned was that you could take your dungeon maps and you can like drag and drop one into the other one. So if you have a dungeon with multiple floors, you can just kind of organize it so that all of the maps are organized under that one. It's like a drop-down folder, and I really think it just helps to organize that map list in the bottom left of RPG Maker VX. And when you drag and drop your maps into other maps like that, you get that little plus box off to the left indicating that it's a drop-down folder. The thing I didn't realize looking at my project last week was that each of those 10 maps had a drop-down box. Each of those drop-down boxes, folders, whatever, had 9 other maps in it. So long story short, I already had a sequel to You Have to Find the Chicken, and it already had 100 mazes already made. Like, it was pretty much just ready to go as it was when I saw it last week. There was a little bit of cleanup I had to do. I had to change the title screen because the title screen was some other picture that I didn't have anymore. So I changed it to the same like stock background that I used for the first one. Changed the main character's name to be the same as it was in the first one. The only real tedious thing was the fact that the little like platforms that I was using to indicate the chicken's starting point had impassable tiles on the top and the bottom, so only the sides were open. So for 20 of the maps, I had to go in and manually change that to just be normal passable tiles. But like all the teleports were already in place. There was even an ending screen that's already in place. Like, I had to do remarkably little in order to get the game to be where I wanted it to be so that I could put it up on the workshop. And I did. I haven't actually done a playthrough of it just yet. And the one thing that I did note last week is that each of the mazes, I think in the original game they were 100 by 100 tile maps. In the sequel, they're 200 by 200. And there's 100 maps. So it is massive compared to the first one. Now I think that like there's no real way for me to go up from here. So if I do any sequels or anything like that, it's going to have to be lateral movements at best. Because even with how easy it is to make dungeon maps in that game, in that program, I don't know if I'm going to make 100 of them again. Honestly think that if I do anything else with RPG Maker VX, I want it to actually be that trite Crystal Quest RPG that I've been thinking about. And even that's going to come with some challenges. Like, I want to see if I can figure out how to do like, what's the right way to phrase this? Like an if condition? That is not the right way to phrase it, but where the game would check to see, okay, if you have a certain item in your inventory, then something will happen. You know, I was kind of thinking about either like changing enemy groups in the dungeons based on what items you already have from the ends of each of the dungeons. Because that'd be kind of cool if I could figure out how to do that. Have like 4 different kinds of enemy groups per level. Might be a little bit late. Yeah, I think that was late. I hit him with 2. Possibly hit him with a 3rd, maybe a 4th. Yeah, bad fight. Ah, yes, it's this song from X6. the good one. As for the dumb little RPG I'm thinking of making, it would be kind of nice to have at least those first 4 dungeons be completely open as to like which ones you can or cannot do. I'd like for you to be able to play all 4 of the dungeons in any order you like, but again, being able to change the enemy groups based off of key items in your inventory would be really nice. And I'm almost positive that that functionality exists in RPG Maker. I just don't have the program open in front of me right now, and I don't exactly know where I'd look for something like that. It'd probably just have to be an event at the beginning of every dungeon. Wonder if I'd have to do it at the beginning of every floor. Because I know how to make like different enemy groups. The only thing is trying to make different groups of groups. Well, that atomic got what was coming to him. I mean, for a potentially quick little game like what I'm thinking about doing, I mean, I'd still have these... I'd still have, like, the 4 base dungeons. I'd still have them be, like, really big. Maybe not quite as confined and as maze-like as they are in the chicken games. Maybe something a bit more open and spread out, kind of like the lava dome in not the lava dome, the volcano in Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. And the other reason why I'd want to look up how to do conditions in that RPG Maker, just so that you wouldn't have access to the final dungeon right off the bat. You would have to go and do the other dungeons first. You could do them in any order you wanted. I'm still very much just in the idea phase when it comes to this game. And given that I didn't have to actually, like, go through and do a whole lot in order to get the second chicken game up and running, leaves me with some optimism about doing more stuff with RPG Maker. I'd actually like to know if I could do a like something like a Diablo-style town portal. Maybe I would just have to have, like, set teleporters. And they would have keys to unlock them. And even then, I'd still have to figure out some kind of conditions. Also need to see if conditions is actually the right term to use there. Name of the game should just be You Have to Find the Crystals. This fight sucks. Come on, man. Fat thumbed the up input again. Old RKS. RKS and Megamari were both really cool. Fuck. I may not be super into the source material. Those couple of games were pretty fun. And I guess speaking of not totally being into the source material, I guess I'm just not really that big into anime anymore. I guess most of the art styles of anime that I know that I like are either from the 80s or 90s. And not sure whether or not those particular studios are still doing anything. Like, whoever the artist was that did, like, Demon City Shinjuku and Wicked City, and probably one other one that I'm forgetting about. Oh, Midnight Eye Goku, I think, was the name of that one. Whoever the artist was behind that look, I'm a fan of, but don't know who it is, and don't know if they're still actively doing anything, or if they did anything more than those 3 OVAs, which they probably did. Other than that one, though, I can't really think of too many other times where I've been, like, really captivated by a particular art style in anime. Like, even with something like, with G Gundam, which I consider to be one of my favorite anime series, just because I've seen all of it. I can't say that for any other anime series, except, like, Fooly Cooly, but that barely counts. Those fucking 5 episodes. But, like, I was not necessarily a fan of G Gundam because of its art style. Fucking open the door, dude. Like, I loved seeing all of the different Gundam designs that they used for all of the international fighters. I enjoy the relative simplicity of just a massive fighting tournament. as opposed to all of the wartime political intrigue that goes into most of the other Gundam series. The monster of the week element to it was something I liked. It was definitely a series where you can tell the artists put forth their real effort into like a handful of episodes and then just kind of phoned it in for the majority of the series. But you know, G Gundam had a real simple, real easy to follow storyline that ran through it. And I think the biggest thing was it was on at a time when it was getting showed on Toonami, I think. Where it was on at a time where I was generally at home and able to watch. I remember that was always the thing that like really pissed me off about Inuyasha. Is every time where I was like, okay, it's on at this time, it's on at this night, and then I'd be super excited to tune in, and they are jumping back to episode 1. It's like, fuck. That was my least favorite part of watching Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. As they would just replay seasons over and over and over again. But they wouldn't replay it from the very beginning of the series. They'd always replay it from like the beginning of the season. Didn't have the patience for it at the time. And I think, honestly, the only anime I can really think of that I would want to go back and rewatch all of it on like some kind of DVD box set, probably Trigun. Maybe Outlaw Star? But then there's so many other fucking anime series out there that I just have no clue about. And will not ever have any clue about because there's too fucking many of them. I think I've been away from TV for long enough that I don't really know if I have any desire to sit down and watch an entire series. Pretty sure I've got a box set that's the complete series of the old cartoon called Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. That one might be fun to go back and watch at some point, but I had never even heard of that show when I was a kid. It was only through some YouTube video. There's like the top cartoon intro songs from the 80s and 90s. And that's where I learned about a lot of shows that I had never heard of before. And even though I've got access to some live streams on YouTube of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes or G.I. Joe, you know, it's only interesting for so long. Meanwhile, I'm rewatching 12-hour-long videos where my guy Patrician TV's talking about Oblivion. Or his it's like 7 or 8 hour long Morrowind video. By the way, his video series of him doing the coast-to-coast bike trip actually wrapped up just like a couple days ago. He said he's gonna be doing a supercut, just like one massively long video of him biking across America. It's really cool that he did it. And the fact that he did it for charity is kind of like icing on the cake. Thought one of the thumbnails said that they had raised $10,000 for St. Jude's, which again is really cool. Getting close to a 50-minute G4, which is usually what I've been ending up with. A little over 50 minutes. Yeah, basically right at 50. Again, it's where I've been ending up lately. What else is there? Oh, yeah, I've been pushing yet another Skyrim character through the Skygerfall mod. I love that mod. Really, really helps to give Skyrim, at least for the first like 20 or so levels, really helps to make it feel like an old school dungeon crawler, which I really enjoy. Because, like, mechanically speaking, Skyrim is fine. It has a feel to it that I enjoy for that kind of game. But the big thing that the vanilla game is missing is big, long dungeons. They don't even have to be, like, procedurally generated or with all these crazy different branches. You know, give me a dungeon that's going to take me, like, an hour to get through. So I feel like Elder Scrolls hasn't done that since Daggerfall. Cool. Whatever, we made it through. have been going back to Vampire Survivors again every once in a while. Because I've still got lots of stuff to unlock. Still haven't done the... Using Bill here has made me think of it, but I haven't done any of the Operation Guns content just yet. Mostly have just been replaying the Among Us content, going through and unlocking all the Among Us weapons for use in the regular mode of the game. And I have been finding myself putting together some pretty ridiculous builds where I end up getting conceivably way too many candy boxes. So I've got like half of the weapons in the game equipped and at full power. It's like, wow, I haven't had such a hard time seeing my character since I was playing multiplayer. Alright, baby's dead. 56:38 would have been the dot time. 56:39 maybe. It's going to be a pretty high 58, but it's still going to be a 58. Got the no damage off of that bomb. The meatball. No damage MB3. It's fine. I jump. Yes. Okay, that song just ends. I was wondering if Rainwave broke or something. God, please, dude. Get in the boats. 58-50. GG. Oh, wow. That's a really dry part of that marker. I cannot draw numbers tonight. Yeah, since last week it's mostly just been a little bit of Vampire Survivors late one night, and more messing around in Skyrim and the Skygerfall content. Because I've only ever had like one other character that I specifically built to be a stealth archer. So it's not generally the way I like playing that game. I like using archery sparingly. But I do understand it is an incredibly overpowered build. So I can go ahead and quit out of live split. Go ahead and kill that window capture. Dear Force. Okay. So now, I need to kind of think about what I'm doing for the intermission. Wander around on the internet for a second just to see what's going on. Well, there's a new How Ridiculous video. A new Bard's Ballad video entitled Why Fans Are Starting to Hate Oblivion Remastered. Interesting. A GDQ hotfix with TMNT Shredder's Revenge and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. Might be interesting. There's some delightfully dumb stuff from the Yard. Oh, that's right. I didn't watch this new Guga video that came out today. And Finchrovert with an hour and 23-minute long video talking about Daikatana. I'm gonna watch the hell out of that. Andy Cooks trying out people's recipes for burgers. That's just the shit I haven't watched yet. there maybe something I have on Steam that I could play for a little bit? I could do more item grinding in Final Fantasy IV. Last week, after the races, Insane Firebat did once again gift me a game. This time it was Rogue Legacy 2. So I'm gonna have to get that put in. Everything for Steam, pretty much just have to get rid of Rainwave for a little bit. I don't think I'd be able to just play 20 or 30 minutes in Stardew. I'd fall down a rabbit hole real fucking quick in that game. I don't think I have anything on Steam. I just play for a real short period of time. Might just take a break and go make myself some food real quick, but I did make myself a little bit of a snack earlier, so I'm not really terribly hungry. Who else is doing stuff on Twitch right now? And did I miss a stream from Murphigator? Looks like no, I did not. Doesn't look like I'm really missing out on anything else going on Twitch right now. Final Fantasy VI versus Link to the Past. This should be an interesting game. I'm betting Link to the Past wins because they're a team that has actual stats. FF6 is not. Because I don't understand how to do stats in baseball. Figured I'd just put up numbers for 2 teams out of the 4 that I made. And that's why the leaf hit is not good. Edgar. Oh, that was dangerous. Yeah, and that's why. 3 up, 3 down. Man, not a good first inning. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Lionel, you evil, evil man. Fucking walking. Oh no, he's just good old-fashioned out. He's standing on the umpire's shoulders. You can't do that. Pulling Setzer. Putting in Sabin. He's already sweating. Grab. Oh, baby. Oh, it hit the wall. Lucky little crab. We're all loaded up. Oh, don't know what you were thinking there, crab. Yeah, get some. Now that's how you use the leaf hit. Unfortunately, didn't go very well for him, but you want to hit the leaf effect like right after you hit it, so hopefully it bounces like right in front of the catcher and just shoots off into the outfield. Yeah, she's at least getting on base. Guess we'll take a third as well. Oh, that is caught and she is out. Yep. Man. Rough game. Everybody just ran past that one. That's still in. Rough game. I'm gonna take the time to change the race channel goal. That guy's dead. And we're just running it back in, boss. Come on, Gao, bring him home. That's not how you bring him home. Let's bring up the main channel again. Yo, Andy started up a boogie percent in Earthbound. Nice. Oh my god, someone actually hit it out of the park. I didn't look over fast enough to see who it was. It's whoever hits before blind. Get on. Oh, that painted the absolute edge of the plate there. He's trying to get under Armos' skin is what he's doing. Trying to get into his armor. Okay, Link to the Past actually scoring points. We get the Gradius Rebirth song. Hell yeah. Oh, killed the catcher. Oh yeah, that's more points. Team FF6 is starting to slip. Not sure what Zelda was doing there. Good line. Just need Aghanim to bring everybody home. And that's not how you do it. I got 3 points, though. We're actually going to have a winner of the game. There we go. That's how you use the leaf hit. You do it really, really quickly right after you hit it so that it spikes into the ground and goes shooting off at a weird angle. That's how you do it. This, not so much. What I'm kind of hoping is that there's either multiple seasons in this game, or that you could potentially save one of the custom teams with the stats that they acquired throughout the season. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to look up some fucking baseball team stats and just copy and paste them. Link to the Past is on the board again. That was Thief. Thief was the one that had the first home run. He's the guy that hits before blind. So we're not in danger of the mercy rule, which is always good to see. Say Edgar needs to take a swing at something here. King of Figaro needs to make something happen. I love that this is just, it's a medley of songs. Don't know if all of these songs were actually in Gradius Rebirth or if they're just like remakes of other tracks from the history of the series. And the pitcher just said no fucking way. This shit is above my pay grade. Of course, his pay grade is a sack of oats that we strap onto his face after the end of each game. Clack. These wall hits, man. Working out pretty well for Link to the Past. These errors, on the other hand, not that it mattered, holy crap. Link? Attaboy, Link. Attaboy. That's how you do it. You know, it's Halloween o'clock. Zelda? Not to be outdone? She comes back to the dugout and is greeted by a hearty, "Well, excuse me, princess." Lucky 7. Pitcher said no. Wow. I can't pick up a ball that's not moving. I have to double check how the outfielders shift. I thought the shortstop was on the other side of the outfield. I guess it depends on the handedness of the batter? No? Did that hit the ground? How was it not out when he caught it? Yeah, because the guy that I'm used to seeing as the shortstop, like, runs over and covers second, and that's another out of the park. Out of the field, I guess, into the crowd. 7 points. in Lucky 7. Mog, you better be sweating. You're a terrible pitcher. Alright, Thief. Gotten a couple home runs your last time out. Not this time, though. Now that's standing on the umpire's shoulders. Link to the Past does not want to lose this game. And in all likelihood, they're not going to. Link to the Past probably isn't even going to get to play in the 9th inning. Second baseman is like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, FML, that's out of here. Is that out of here again? Yep. You can tell when you see the outfielders running against the wall. I don't know if we're going to get a mercy rule. Yeah, we are. I thought we were going to give FF6 the top of the 9th. Let's give one shot to the Dragon View glitch. Okay. Oh. All right. So we're going to give it one chance. I don't know, I'm almost thinking I may just... If no one shows up for the late race, I don't know. Usually Nintoaster will show up if no one else does. But I'm not gonna pester Firebat about this, just because he's either got something else going on or he's sleeping. Let's see. There's other dumb shit on the internet that I can check out real quick. Actually, let's see who my hat says I should play as. Tails, second opinion. Alcoon, third opinion. 8-Bit Mario. So if I remember to go with Tails, then we'll go with Tails. see here. See if I remember what my own commands are. Concentrate and ask again. Outlook not so good. So yeah, let's do the late run. Let's get some more squids. Need more squids. All the squids. Probably figure out what palette I want for Tails. Oh, he does have a custom ship, but it's that dumb little one, so no. Getting nervous there. I was like, why is this taking so long? It's like same thing. If it gets to be like 5 minutes past the hour, I'm gonna quit out of the race. And I'm gonna quit out of IRC. That's right. Tails is the one that doesn't use the orb for the spin jump or space jump, space spin. What does this even mean? Freeze issue ordered for late as F tonight. Don't know why I wasn't getting my weather widget earlier. I was just about to start up with Ponk, and one of the things I was thinking is, oh, I should change my weather widget to show me temperature in Celsius. Oh, yeah. Saw a game on the coming up section on Rainwave called Echochrome. I'd kind of forgotten about that game. Actually, there's this other game. I'm seeing Echochrome not visually reminded me of it, but stirred the memory a little bit. There was this game, and I saw, I think on Twitter, like a work in progress kind of development short video of it. And it was where you're like this little critter that can move around using shadows. And it's this weird kind of platforming game where you're like jumping in and out of shadows. Wonder whatever happened with that game. I don't think I've seen or heard much of it since then. And yeah, I looked earlier. Today is Friday. I mean, and this happens every once in a while. You know, when at best we've got like 3 other people that might show up on any given night. And usually it's just Insane Firebat. And we all know what happens when I race Insane Firebat. He beats me by like 10 minutes. In a game where even 1 minute is huge. But say it with me. That's because I don't practice. I've seen way too many people that I look up to in a Super Metroid speedrunning sense that have found themselves absolutely hating this game for one reason or another, and it's usually in practice that they find themselves coming to that realization. And I don't want to get to that point with this game. If we're going purely off of playtime, then this is easily my favorite video game that I've ever played. So I'd really rather not. get into a spiteful relationship with this game. But yeah, we are getting to the point where I think I need to just open up Live Split again. Actually, if I just drop the timer below the hat, then I can actually... Oh, I don't think I can rename the window capture. Oh yeah, I can. Here we go. Let's call it timer. All right. Again, just going to give an extra 5 or so minutes just to make sure that I'm the only one here. And then we'll quit out and no one will be here. getting to that point. Yep. Go ahead and quit out of that, quit out of that. Get some of this other stuff opened up. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. $42.94. I wonder what I should... There's got to be a couple of big games on Steam that I still need to test out besides just Dead Space 3. Not really sure that I'm still not really sure that I want to throw down a lot of space just for one game. It's one of the things that I've enjoyed about the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters is that none of those games are... I don't think any of them are over a gig. Maybe 6 might be, but I don't think so. probably just end up playing Skyrim for a couple additional hours after I'm done tonight. Unless I can't fucking shoot. I'm gonna be sitting here all night. I'm at one of the best parts of the Skygerfall mod, where you've got like 3 or 4 different dungeons you can go to all at one time. It's like Durrani Tower, Orsinium, Wormhenge, Sentinel Dungeon. And I always got to bring it up, but the Sentinel Dungeon is the trickiest one of the bunch. Of course, I say that knowing the rough time that I was having with oh fuck, it's Nulfaga's castle. Shedungeon. Because you have to go through that place twice, and the first visit isn't really that difficult. Relatively pretty short. The second visit to Shedungeon is more difficult. So you have to go in a different route through the castle to get the Great Unicorn Horn to lift the curse on Durrani Tower. And Durrani Tower is already like a relatively long enemy-filled dungeon. So then you have to do round 2 of Shedungeon, and it has more difficult enemies the second time around. Cool. What's the other character I have going through Skygerfall right now? Right now I've got my second stealth archer that I'm using. And again, as someone that never really took full advantage of a stealth archer build for the longest time, I always went either melee or magic for the longest time. But actually like investing points into archery and into stealth this time around. You come to find out real quick why it's a dominant strategy. I mean, shit, if the enemy can't see you and you're doing consistent damage to them, how is that a bad thing? I guess it's technically not the most exciting play style. That's kind of why I've saved it for saved it for later. There is something about Skyrim that keeps me coming back to it, which is funny, because I'm usually not, as I'm playing Super Metroid for like the 900 some odd time, I'm usually not the kind of person to go back to a game after I've beaten it time and again. I guess it's just the fact that there's so much shit to do in Skyrim. And there's a bunch of different ways you can approach it. And I've got the Daggerfall mod. And yeah, the dungeon crawling aspect of that mod just makes it so much fun to me. I just wish that Skyrim had more traditional dungeons in it. I mean, I guess Oblivion is the same way. It's just that's a generation of gaming where I was paying attention elsewhere. That might have actually been back when I was really diving headfirst into the NES library. If you go far enough back... Well, no, that would have been... 06, 07, 08, in that time period. Yeah, dude, I was... Missed the third one. More than anything else, I might have been playing Madden. It's because in that, like... in that time period of a couple years there, I was really into NFL football, where I was able to like actually understand what was going on, and I knew all the different positions and everything. And it was when I was like first really learning about the NFL, and when I was getting into like watching the games every week. Because right up until, like, 2005, I was not really that big of a sports fan. I think I had been to one Indiana Pacers game. We were playing the Pistons in Detroit. Trying to remember if I've been to 3 or 4 NBA games. want to say 4. It's based off of the teams that I'm pretty sure that I've seen the Pacers play. So I'm pretty sure every... No, then it would have been 3 games. Maybe it wasn't the Pacers versus the Pistons in Detroit that I saw. That could have been when I saw the Toronto Raptors. So that would have been back when Grant Hill was still playing for the Pistons and when they were like a year or 2 into their new color scheme of having the teal jerseys with the big like horse head logo. That makes more sense. I would have seen the Pistons versus the Raptors. Because then I know it was Reggie Miller's last home game. His last regular season home game that I went to see when I'm pretty sure they played the Philadelphia 76ers when they had Allen Iverson. And then the most recent game was a good couple of years ago by now. But it was when they were playing against the Memphis Grizzlies when they had Zach Randolph. I don't remember who the Toronto Raptors would have had that I would have known back in the 90s. Yo, what's up, Real Work? Sports ball is what we do. Yep. God, and as far as NFL games go, I think I've only ever been to 2. Yeah, because I've only seen the Colts play teams that are named after big cats. I've only seen the Colts versus the Bengals and the Colts versus the Jaguars live. Need to see him play the Panthers. And I'll have the collection. But yeah, I was just reminiscing real quick, trying to remember what exactly was I doing back in the mid-2000s. I think it was only in 03 and 04. It was in one of those years that was the very first time I bought a video game console that wasn't a Nintendo something or other. It was when I got my very first PS2. And it was primarily for the WWE SmackDown games. Like the 4th and 5th iterations of WWE SmackDown were really fucking good. Once those games became fucking QTEs and pressure gauges, I gave up. It's like, no guys, this is what actual pro wrestling is like. It's not what I want. What I really want is like a fighting game engine that just happens to have WWE wrestlers in it. I think that's one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to wrap my head around the seemingly basic controls in Fire Pro Wrestling World. I mean, shit, dude. If I put that game on its easiest difficulty, I can at least win a match. It got to a point with the fourth SmackDown game where the hardest difficulty was absolutely no challenge for me. Because I used to regularly play against someone that I hung out with at the time. And those matches were rough. Those matches were mighty fucking struggles every single time I played against that guy. Once we decided to start goofing around and start doing tag team matches against a couple of computers, that's when we started having like a lot of really dumb fun. Just tossing people out of the fucking ring, dropping people on their fucking heads. You know, back when I was still like buying wrestling DVDs and watching on TV. The glory days of 2006. Mr. Krabs. We got okay crabs. Oh shit, I don't actually have it captured right now, but nobody else showed up for the races tonight, so I do actually have a timer running. I just forgot to capture it and put it on stream. I was about to mention something about it. I was like, oh wait, I forgot to turn on the capture. Might look a little awkward if I just did it right now. But yeah, I'm assuming that Firebat is either busy with something else or he's sleeping, which is fine. Oh, many Mississippis. Okay, we're still good. I at least hit him with 2. It's like a fraction of a second too early on that jump. Should have him here, though. Kersplat. Nope. Okay, god damn it. Again, just a little bit too early. God, he's like one missile away from death. Maybe I can get him just with a fully charged shot. Yep. Get out of here, yellow Phantoon. But yeah, the other reason I was reminiscing was just trying to remember what video games that I was playing fucking 20 years ago. And it was mostly SmackDown, GTA San Andreas, and Madden. And man, the other game that in that same time period I got to be really fucking good at was NBA Street Volume 2. Oh my fucking god. I bet you it would take me a matter of minutes to get reaccustomed to that game and be almost as good as I used to be. I played that game so fucking much. All I really need to do is get my timing back with shot blocks. Because that is what I frustrated people with more than anything. Well, still found the ceiling. Like, almost every character that I had would get the nickname from the commentator of Troll. That's the nickname that you got when you were extremely good at blocking shots. And that shit was my bread and butter when I played Street Volume 2. Even got to the point where someone I was hanging out with at the time told me, I'm not playing this game against you anymore. Because it got to the point where it was literally just so frustrating that you started having a hard time doing anything else. But I knew the timing of it so well that even when I had like a 5'5" white guy, he'd still be jumping out of his boots, smacking shots out of the air. Got to be pretty good at NBA Live 2004. It's either, yeah, I think it was either 2003 or 2004, but I think it was 04. It was not NBA Live 2005. That's the game I bought just to watch the AI do dunk contests. And there was something fundamental about the way the game played that was different between 03 and 04 and all the NBA Live games that came after that. There was also some kind of stupid change that they made in Madden games at a certain point, where what it came down to was the AI decided when your current ball carrier was going to use their turbo. Put this in NBA Jam terminology. I think it was whatever Madden had Adrian Peterson on the cover. But that was so fucking aggravating, because it's like, you know, on my fantasy team, I had like one of the fastest running backs in the entire league, and motherfuckers just kept catching up to him. So I dove into the options menu, turned that shit off. Next thing you know, not only am I playing better, but everybody else that was playing the same version that I was hanging out with at the time started playing better as well. Because they themselves were given the option of when to utilize their character's turbo, instead of the computer saying, oh, well, your running back's not a big enough star to do this. Shut the fuck up. Here's the idea. You don't think this guy is a fucking star? Why'd you give him a 98 in speed? Sounds like a star in the fucking making, if you ask me. It's just nobody's giving him the ball in the right situations. But I can't complain too much, because I think that guy played for Tennessee. He was almost certainly one of those running backs that gave the Colts headaches twice every year. Our god-awful run defense at the time. Oh boy. There he goes. Okay. Just never gonna get that wall jump consistently. I could have made that with that straight jump, but whatever. Woo! So yeah, after I did some more looking around in RPG Maker, after I did my cleanup for the Chicken sequel, went through the assets a couple more times just to see if anything was going to jump out at me for ideas. And I don't think if I ever do another iteration of You Have to Find the Chicken, there's got to be a different gimmick to it besides how big the game is. I don't know if maybe there would be like actual monster encounters. But I don't really think I can go bigger than what I inevitably found out that I did with Chicken 2. Because I did mention it on Discord, but I did find out that somehow, some way, fucking 10 years ago, I managed to make 100 maps for that game. So, it is up on the Steam Workshop. Right there next to the first one. Haven't checked on it in like 4 or 5 days. But I mean, the stats on it, I'm sure, are nothing special, because I don't think anybody is still using VX for RPG makers. Pretty sure people have moved on to MV. Or if there's anything past that, because I don't fucking know. The cool thing would be to see if I can do a demake. Where I either get RPG Maker 2003 fired back up, maybe 2005, depending on which version has the random dungeons, or see if I can do it on one of the RPG Makers that's on PS2. That might just be fucking hilarious. But yeah, the point I'm at with RPG makers, I need to find out about different capabilities and whether or not I have those capabilities. Because I want to do either that trite crystal quest that I keep mentioning, or I want to do a game where it's like one massive dungeon that has, 50 or so odd number of levels to it, but that would also feature like a town that you could warp back up to. So it'd be like kind of like Diablo or Torchlight first iterations in those series, where it's just the one dungeon and the one town. And again, I also need to double check to see if I have any other game making software. Because I thought I had another one. Still also kind of like the idea of, oh, not in hand. Still kind of like the idea of recreating some of these old Minecraft adventure maps that I really liked in some other engine. Whether it's trying to replicate them in RPG Maker or like in Gary's mod. The only thing is with Gmod, I think stuff can only be so big. Most of those old adventure maps are really only possible because it's Minecraft. Because some of those maps are fucking gigantic. Remember in one of those maps, I think it's like the only one of them that I haven't played on stream that I want to. But there's this massive pitch black area that's just filled with monster spawners. And I would always dig a tunnel in the wall to get through that area, to get past everything. And digging, like, that area is so big that digging that tunnel took an inordinately long amount of time. I mean, with having to go back to base and restock on food and tools, it would sometimes take me over an hour. Also didn't help that two of the victory items were located in that giant goddamn Gantic dungeon. But that's just not going to be happening anymore. Unless I decide to buy Minecraft again. Just don't have access to any of my old mod packs anymore. For whatever reason, my profile just stopped existing in those programs. Said, fuck it, cleared up 20 gigs of space. You dead? You might be dead. He's not dead. Next step is going to be buying, like, a relatively small SD card that I have for just nothing but my episodes of Fireball XL5. I need to start showing that again during the intermissions. That show is so much fun. Fucking hell. Yeah, I mean, it's got its moments, like every other show from the time, that are, you know, a little cringy, but the main body of the show, the main puppet body of the show, is solid as all hell. And it's only when, like, the old flight commander, when his dipshit child gets involved in the episodes, it's really like, that's the fucking worst. Not just an annoying child, but it's an annoying puppet child. Still need to get my hands on like an old television commercial for the original Metroid. Or like one of those old demo kiosks that used to exist for the Super Nintendo. You need to get the audio for the Super Nintendo, or for the Super Metroid video that they would show. You just cut that in with some footage from Fireball XL5. Especially that one episode where the guys are fighting like a giant brain in a jar. Sure could do a lot with just like that one episode. It was kind of one of the limitations that I had when I would make anime music videos back in the day. Is I never had videos of great quality, and I never had a lot of them. Like, there was one time, and I never actually made the AMV, Like it never left Windows Movie Maker. But there was an old song by the band Godhead that I was going to use for an AMV. And it was for one of the DBZ movies. Don't really remember which one. And I found that the song was like really kind of short, and that I ended up having too much footage that I wanted to use. So it was one of those things where it was like a project that I put on the back burner for a while, and then that computer went kaput. Or just, slowed down to such a crippling degree that I couldn't accurately really edit or time things anymore. That's the part that sucks. When the machine that you're using gets so bogged down that even when you try to be as accurate as possible, you're still ending up missing the mark by multiple frames. Whoops. That was the ceiling, buddy. We already checked that in a different area. It's still there. Oh boy. And I haven't really messed around too much with the video editing software that came with this laptop. No, I remember I tried to use the software that I've got because I thought there was some part of it that led me to believe that AI enhancing was an option in the program that I have. And I was thinking, oh gee, this is great. I'll just take one of these old, like, 480p videos that I still have and just run it through the program a couple times and clean it up as much as I can. But I don't think that's how that works. And almost every other AI service that I've stumbled upon is some kind of fucking website that wants me to get an account. It's like, dude, why can't I just have like a standalone program? But I guess if I had a standalone program, I'd have to train the AI myself, and I don't even know what that means. There we go. No subpixel fuckery this time. What's that? We need a big dead baby. Big dead baby. Okay. And we'll give an update on the time since I forgot to capture it earlier. Actually, let's open this up. There we go. Now is a relatively okay time to do it because I'm almost done. So frustrating that I forgot to capture this from the beginning of the run, but whatever. It's gonna be another 58. It's probably gonna be just like a little bit lower than what I did earlier. So about 56:17 would have been the dot time. So yeah, this is gonna be like a 58:30, somewhere in that ballpark. Boing. Poke poke, poke poke, poke poke, poke poke, poke poke. Get me out of here. Which, there's my button. 58:29.95. So basically, a 58:30. GG. Not a bad estimate on my part. Ah. Well, all right. That was me beating a video game twice in one night. Huzzah. GG's. I know my music usually comes across pretty quiet on stream. I know my stream comes off as relatively quiet in general, but I'm picking up on something in this music. There's an instrument that they're using, and I'm forgetting the name of it. But it's like, I think it's like a hollowed out piece of wood that has a bunch of ribs, and you like scrape a metal rod across the ribs to create like this wooden scraping sound. I forget what those things are called. I have to look this up after the Deer Force. Deer Force! Alright, Google. Wooden instrument. Just a wood scraper? Yeah. Oh god, it's just called a wood scraper. Or a gyro. Guiro? Gyro? Produces a ratchet-like sound from parallel ridges cut in one side. You play it by rubbing a wooden stick across the ridges. Huh. Yeah, it has a very distinct sound. There's not too many other instruments that sound like that thing, and I think that's with intent. And I get to close out of almost all of my requests. I think I'm the only person on game that's requesting music right now, so I'll have some good shit for editing. Anyways. How do I spell we did it? There we go. We did it. But not too much. Because these were just runs this week. Not any races, unfortunately. That means that all 500 of my SRL points are safe for the week. Anyways, what I will say is a big thank you to Ponk for hanging out tonight. Split Fiction has already been a whole lot of fun. And because of remote play, it seems like my computer can actually run it. Since, you know, it's not actually running the game, it's just streaming it. More likely, it's streaming my inputs to his machine. And all I'm watching is a video of what happens. But anyways, the game's been a whole lot of fun. Can't wait for some character development so I actually don't hate the character that I'm playing as. But he tells me it's going to happen, so I'm not worried. And for everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya.